First look at the Eachine FW190 Warbird. This is courtesy of Banggood. I want to thank them much for sending this for review. Let's take a look at some of the features of this plane. It comes with the XPilot stabilization system. It's made of Flex foam, which I think is just a larger cell EPP foam that makes it lighter weight but still remains fairly durable. One key aerobatic button. Comes with a prop saver, which comes in really handy with these planes with the brushed motor and gearbox. You know, not only does it save your prop, but it could save your motor or your gearbox from damage. So I really like the prop savers they put on here. Ultra long flight time and pre-assembled, ready to fly. All right, and it comes with a lot of scale detail, and this one actually comes with a clear canopy and a pilot figure inside the canopy, which is kind of cool, as opposed to just have painted foam. You know, it's a little more detail than what you would normally see on these micro warbirds. And here are some of the specs. It comes in a ready-to-fly or a bind-and-fly version, which is awesome. I wish all these manufacturers would start providing these planes in ready-to-fly and bind-and-fly. It has a wingspan of 400 millimeters, which is 15.75 inches. The length is 317 millimeters or 12.48 inches. It has a 1020 coreless motor and gearbox that's spinning that prop. The servos has 3 2-gram plastic gear servos, and the prop is 2-blade, and it specifies 130 by 70 millimeters, which comes out to 5.1 by 2.75 inches. And it comes with several props, not just 2-blade, but also 3-blade props. And I'll show you an image of that in a few minutes. But has a range of approximately 200 meters, and that's plenty far away for an aircraft of this size. It gets really, really small, 100 meters away. And I like flying close proximity aerobatic flights, so I'm typically not more than 150 meters away from myself. The transmitter takes 4 AA batteries. Those are not included. The included LiPo, and it comes in, I believe, a 2-battery or a 3-battery version. The 2-battery version, last time I checked, and I think it's currently on sale. I think I posted that information on our Facebook page. You can get it delivered, the bind-and-fly version with 2 batteries, you can get it delivered for less than $100, which I think is awesome. But the LiPos are 1S, 3.7 volt, 400 milliamp hour, 20C LiPos, should be able to provide 8 amps of power. And they have the flat white connector, is the type of connector that they have. It states flight time is 12 to 15 minutes, and the all-up weight is 60 grams. All right, so I weighed the LiPo. The LiPo is 10.8 grams. The weight of the FW190 without the LiPo is 53.9 grams, and my all-up weight was 64.7 grams, 65 grams. So it's an extremely lightweight little warbird. Some of the features: it comes fully assembled. It has 3 gyro modes. All right, so it also has a radio signal and low battery alarms. So it will let you know when the battery is getting low or if your radio signal is getting weak. It has a 1-key U-turn function. I think that in the specs it states that it's a return home, but it's not a return home. All it does is provide a way for you to record the direction in which you're going to launch the plane, and then when you activate the U-turn function, it will come back in the opposite direction from when it was launched. But it does not have GPS. It does not have a return to home function. It has a stunt button that will allow you to have the computer perform rolls and loops for you. And one thing that I really love that I'm seeing more of on these microplanes is the board comes with a DSM and an S-Bus PPM port. So if you do not have a multi-protocol transmitter that can bind up to this plane with the native protocol, you can add an external receiver, so you should be able to fly this with any hobby grade transmitter that you can get a satellite receiver for. and DSM or S-Bus PPM, which is absolutely fantastic. That's another thing I would like to see on all planes going forward. This one does bind up to a multi-protocol transmitter. I was able to bind up to it with my TX16S just fine using protocol V761 subprotocol 4-channel. No problem whatsoever. And this one, like a couple of other microplanes I've received recently, actually has access ports so that you can access the motor mount, you can access the receiver gyro servo board without having to cut into foam, which is another thing I would like to see on all these planes going forward. This makes it a lot easier to do repair, replacement, or modifications on these planes with those access ports. So they really thought this out really, really well. So I wanted to bring this up and show you. There's an access port right here underneath the nose so that you can access 2 screws that are holding the motor in. And then there's also an access port here on the main wing, and the main board and servos and the DSM S-Bus ports are located underneath this foam panel. So they're making it a lot easier, guys, to be able to work on and modify these planes, which is absolutely fantastic. Another thing that I really like is the new landing gear that they're putting on these planes. A little bit larger diameter wheels than what you normally see, and these wheels roll so much more smoothly than the landing gear that they were putting on these micro warbirds previously. So I applaud them for that too. Now it makes it a lot easier to do ground takeoffs and landings with these micro warbirds without the nose flipping over on you. Okay, so here's a picture of the panel removed underneath the nose. You can see the 2 screws there for the motor mount. So if you ever need to replace the motor, they're making it a lot easier to do these types of things now. So you've got access to that. The battery bay, and you can see the connector uses the flat white connector for the LiPo. The LiPos go in vertically, not horizontally, so I wanted to make you aware of that. And here is the access panel removed for the receiver gyro servo board here. But they're there and they're usable, and it's nice that you've got access to all these electronics. Makes it a lot easier. Here's a picture of the clear canopy with the pilot figure inside. I'm really glad that they've done that with this plane. So I'm very much looking forward to some of these warbirds on down the road that they come out with. But they're getting better and better, guys. Okay, so here's a picture of the transmitter. You've got your slide button right here, your power button right here. You've got your power LED. Mine is mode 2, so my rudder and throttle are on the left-hand stick, my aileron and elevator on the right-hand stick. You've got your trim button down here for your rudder. You've got the trim button over here for your aileron and trim button for your elevator. The mode switch for the gyro is a 3-position switch with the switch pulled all the way toward you. That is beginner mode, fully stabilized mode, auto leveling mode. The center position is the mid mode that I spoke about earlier, and pushed all the way back is manual mode or expert mode. On the left-hand shoulder on the top of the transmitter is your stunt button. So while you're flying, if you push the stunt button, the transmitter is going to start beeping. While it's beeping, you want to either tap the aileron control to the left to perform a left roll, tap it to the right to make a right roll, or tap the elevator control to have it perform a loop for you. Okay, but you need to do that while the transmitter is beeping after you press that button. When you bind up to it, you're going to power on the plane first, then power up the transmitter. It will bind up. To unlock the throttle, you need to move the throttle stick all the way to the top and then back down to the bottom. You'll hear a beep. And then when you apply throttle, the motor will spin up. If you're going to use the U-turn function, the throttle selector, the throttle trim button here is used for the U-turn function. So if you're going to use the U-turn function, you have to press this the throttle trim switch slide all the way up and hold it up for several seconds. When you hear it beep, You'll hear it beep, and then you'll see the rudder actuate slightly. It'll let you know that it's recorded the direction in which you're going to launch the plane. If you're going to use that function, you need to do that before you unlock the throttle. So, and then if you want to use the U-turn function after you've recorded it, while you're flying, you need to press and hold this trim selector down, probably for 2 or 3 seconds, to actuate the U-turn function. And you don't want to be inputting anything in the transmitter while you're doing that, because that will override the U-turn function. So that's how you will use that. Comes with a decent manual. All the information is in the manual, which is very handy. It comes with a USB battery charger, LiPo charger for your LiPos. And it comes with all these props. It's only showing one 2-blade prop here because I've got one on the plane itself. So it comes with 2 2-blade props and 2 3-blade props. All right, we're back to the beginning. So once again, I want to thank Banggood for sending this plane for review. Stay tuned for the maiden flight on this. As soon as I have the wind, I will be taking this out and launching it. That's a wrap on this episode. I'll see you next time in the Tinkerz Lab.